to Next Generation, and we are back with our second episode talking about more theater we have seen. This time we're talking about seeing Fat Ham at the Wilma Theater, written by James Ijames and directed by one of our faves, Amita Robinson. We're also going to maybe chat a little bit about what we are today, where we are decorating and setting up the gallery Eban Youth at Allen's Lane Art Center, curated by our very own Sabriaya Shipley, and centered around the youth and the work that she has done with a lot of different artists and people, yada yada. So it's very exciting to be here today and to be back with our youth and talking about some things. Yeah. All right. Woo. So let's jump in. Let's talk about Fat Ham at the Wilma.
Yes.
You know, any initial thoughts or things you want to get off your chest about that experience?
Hilarious.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yes.
It was a lot.
You fell out of his chair. I did fall.
I really couldn't. But
Wasn't it
what?
based off Shakespeare?
Yes.
the whole thing
Bring
was.
that up.
Yes, the whole play was an adaptation of Hamlet.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Oh, that makes actually
Right,
so
so
much
Fat
sense.
Ham.
Oh,
Did y'all know that going into? Did anyone know?
I knew it was based off of
I
Shakespeare,
figured.
but not Hamlet. But it wouldn't have mattered because I don't know about Shakespeare that much.
Yeah, a little bit more like Fat Ham though, because it's called Fat Ham, I believe, because Juicy is supposed to be this like heavier set kid, and he's like the Fat Ham, the
Right,
Fat Hamlet
Oh.
from Philly, you know, or from he has kind of like a Philly style to him. You know what I'm saying? Fat Ham was written by James Ijames, who was a Philadelphia playwright.
Yeah.
Anybody
thought
say
it
nothing
was-
about no West Side
Have you met him?
Huh? I have met James Ijames a couple times because he also is a Temple graduate, like myself, and so he's done a lot of work over the years. And Fat Ham is a really popular one.
Right, it was on Broadway for a little while.
Oh yeah, really?
It debuted there, and then I think Charisse has seen it 6 times.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Charisse knows James very well.
He was her teacher.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm curious though, like it being Hamlet. Some of y'all knew that, some of y'all didn't. I'm sure.
I never heard of Hamlet a day in my life.
Right, like
Well, maybe one time, but that was it.
some of y'all have varying levels of experience with Hamlet by Shakespeare. Last time, in our last episode, we talked about like your experience with Shakespeare and like the adaptation of Macbeth that you saw. I'm curious, like in a similar way, there was a little bit of the original Shakespeare text in this play. Did y'all notice that? And how did that land?
Not really. I mean, I noticed it, but not really because I was just watching it. So everything kind of made sense.
Sorry, I don't even. I forgot what I was gonna say. Keep going.
Or like I know there's like that has something to do with the dead father. There was something where like the brother. I know that in the original Hamlet there was the guy, there was the Hamlet, whatever the main guy's.
Juicy.
What in the original Hamlet though? There is the dad who gets killed by his brother, and then his mom marries the brother. So it's really it's like, and then the guy gets visits from his dad to kill his brother.
Yeah,
And then stuff happens. Oh wait.
that's what.
Oh yeah, the poison. Oh, I did. He did. Both of them did get poisoned.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that what happened?
I
They
thought
got
he
shanked in
choked.
prison.
He choked.
He choked and then he didn't want. He was like, I don't want a gay person to save me.
That's
So, and so he died.
That's really what happened. He said, "Listen."
Because like Juicy was like, I'll give you the Heimlich, and he was like, no.
He said
you're
no.
gay.
No.
No, I think that happened. But you're talking about the actual like Hamlet, the text, Shakespeare's text. The uncle does die through poison, right? And I think the choking him choking on the bone in Fat Ham is like a symbol to that poison, right? Especially when you think about barbecue.
Oh my god, that's another thing. Like the whole time they was pulling out food, and my stomach was
No,
starving.
they should.
You get to smell
I
the
was so
food.
for real. I thought it was gonna
Stage.
just pass the plate, and be
I
like,
was
"You
trying
want
to
some
pop up
food?"
there.
I was like, "Please."
Which, if y'all had to redo this, like if y'all had to redesign the set or whatever, would y'all have it so that the audience would also get like a plate of food?
That was also a question that I had written down for y'all, because I know that in our last podcast we talked about that, because especially like at Universal Circus and also at the other play y'all saw, like there were these immersive elements. So yeah, similarly, like did you feel like you had an opportunity to get immersed in the world in those same ways, or like how could you expand that?
The ending was really like the big, because like I mean the entire time, I think especially because it was just like one set, it was really easy to like be in it, but then the ending was really with like when the audience interaction came in, because like everyone was like, it was like the big number after Larry, is that his name? What was his name? Frank? Larry?
What's his name?
The stepfather.
No, the
Juicy?
Oh, Larry, yes.
Yes,
Larry.
After
Larry.
after Larry came out in like his whole new getup, and then they all started dancing around, and like I
Yes.
saw one of the actors hold hands with Sabriaya and stuff. Like that was really where the audience interaction came in for me, because that felt like a really big celebration at the end. So yeah.
You knew the actor, right?
I think what I love about a lot of this was getting to introduce y'all to some of those actors afterwards, but also for y'all to bear witness to some actors in Philly that, you know, tell amazing stories, amazing physicality. What actors stood out for you the most? Who stuck out to you in the way of like embodying the storytelling, right?
Yeah. Like who really captivated you and brought you into the story?
Yeah.
Tia.
Yes.
That gingerbread scene, that took me away.
I worked with Tio before.
Yeah. Anthony is
he came
amazing.
Anthony's amazing.
They came to my school and worked with my theater class. So that was kind of crazy to be like, oh my gosh, wait, like I literally knew you and now you're on the stage in front of me. Like that was wild.
Period. Anyone else connect another actor who you were like, oh, that I'm really with them.
And why?
And
right?
why?
Like what about their performance? Like y'all, most of you responded immediately to that question with Tio. Like what about
His energy, like he was too funny.
Wild.
Yes.
Another
His
person-
movement too, like his body. That was like a whole nother captivating thing.
Can you say more about that, please?
Like the way he moved. He was extra, like he was on something.
First of all, he heard the police move like that and like so he was like, that's how I would be walking around the stage.
He was flopping around doing push-ups, jumping jacks and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, he was very rambunctious. One of the I forget the cousin's name, not Larry. Was that his name? Yes, the girl. What's her name? Sash, something with an S.
It was something with an S.
Samantha?
I apologize if anyone who's in the play is listening.
But that character's played by Jessica Johnson.
Yes, the character, Jessica Johnson, the character that they played, it was, it resonated with me a lot because her mother was trying so hard to get her to be very feminine and whatever stereotypes she was trying to push onto her, and she obviously wasn't that, and I liked that. With all the children, throughout the play, the parents were trying so hard to make them into something that they were not only straight, because none of them ended up being straight, but also just career paths and, you know, Juicy trying to go to college and all of this, whatever wild ideas that the other cousins had. I think that it's good that in the end they accepted them after the uncle died.
Tora, you were going to say something about a character?
Oh yeah, the mother character. Like for the moment, like she stepped on the stage, like you could already tell who her, like what her character was and who her personality was, like just from how she, like the energy she brought. And I remember it was one scene, like this is really random, but it was one scene where like she was just setting up the food and passing the food out, And like I watched as the whole time she set up the food, like she stayed in it, even though like the focus wasn't even on her and it was on the two other characters talking. Like she just stayed in the character, like, which like also immersed me because it's like this is like a real cookout that we're just watching, you know?
Yeah.
So-
You was curious what she was setting up though. You was like, what's that?
Yes.
She's like, what are you
Give us
hungry.
the samples or something. I was starving. We were in the front row. I'm like,
Right.
please pass them
Smelled
over
it.
here.
I was hungry.
Yeah, the smoke that came out the
gosh.
barbecue. You could smell it.
Yes.
Yes. Let me get some.
That's actually a good question. One question we had written down because, especially at a place like Universal Soul Circus, where there was like concessions being brought to us in our seats, like what was y'all's experience with the concessions? Like, did anyone get concessions at? There wasn't intermission, so.
There was intermission, yeah. But I think that also leads into how did y'all feel about the space? Did y'all feel welcomed at the Wilma, right, in the lobby? Were there certain things that stuck out to you? In that
Before and
direction?
after the show.
Before and after the show.
For me,
Go ahead, Tori.
oh, for me, when I first got there, I don't know if it's because like I'm a bit of an anxious person, but I felt very overwhelmed. It was crowded. A lot of people was in there, and a lot of stuff was like happening around me, and it was getting a bit overstimulated for me.
Everybody touching everybody.
Yeah,
It was-
and then like people would see you walking by, but it's like they don't move.
That
That's
that
the
was
irritating. That's the irritating part. Like we're all walking in a straight line, and people are just walking in front of us. Like we're trying to go. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the trying to go to the bathroom and come back from the bathroom.
Yeah,
I was
it's too
like,
much.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's something that's really valid to talk about because a lot of times we talk about the return to theater and people wanting to go see theater, but for a lot of people who are immune compromised or people who get overstimulated very easily, sometimes the lobby situation can be very triggering and can be very like, oh, what's happening here? I think it's also for youth that sometimes they can feel like y'all are also being watched in a way that is different than adults in the space. Do y'all feel that that's accurate, or do y'all feel like y'all being watched in a certain way, yada yada?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, please speak.
Yeah.
Talk more about that. Why? How do you feel you're being watched or monitored?
Well, at the end,
Not the cheese.
something
Not the
happened.
Because, like,
But like,
It's important to talk
basically,
about.
I got up but I stepped onto the stage because people were coming through and were trying to get out, and we were like waiting for everybody to get their stuff. And I was standing up there for like a good second, and I went to go touch the balloon, and the guy, he just started yelling at me, but it's like it wasn't even nothing that serious, and he could have said it like nicer, but yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, especially with a show like that where the balloon had hit you throughout the show.
Right.
Yeah,
It was on my
passing
feet.
around.
It was on my lap, my feet, everything.
and it's also like with the space too. It's like if they don't want you on the stage, where else are you supposed to go? Because there's no space between the stage and where we're sitting for like people to like move
Right.
through or anything.
Yeah.
And also, it's not like she like broke anything or was like trying to go through the house. Like she was just standing there, just picked up a balloon, like a balloon you blow up with your mouth. Like he was talking about something. Get out the stage! Like calm down. Like I don't know. That kind of got me annoyed.
You do not get paid enough to yell.
No,
Just
I
calm
think
down.
I don't know. I think someone hurt him because also when I was walking up, like I heard, I don't know what he said, but he was making some kind of snarky remark about like, oh, something like I don't even know.
Oh yeah, I heard it. He said.
Before the show?
No,
Or-
after like.
Oh, it's still after.
But not like out, like not like yelling down to like London. It was like while I was walking past, it was like him talking to himself and his friend.
Yeah, I
was
heard
like,
what he said. He said something, are you serious? This is ridiculous. Like, that's what he said. And
Yeah,
I'm like, why are you so mad over a
It's
balloon?
not that serious.
Like, he's really hurt. Like, so.
Well, so that makes me reflect. Like, I think Alex, you were the one who said it just a couple minutes ago, and London was talking about this too. Like, feeling like you were trying to move places, and y'all were trying to like make yourselves as small as possible and get out
Right.
of other people's way, but also feeling like they're not getting out of your way or really seeing you. So, like, in this space, how seen or unseen did you feel?
Small, so much happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a lot.
Too much traffic.
It's like people weren't really aware of their surroundings.
Or didn't care.
And has it felt that way in other previous spaces that you've been in?
In Universal Circus, I felt very welcome. Like, I feel like that was a fun, little,
Right.
happy family place, you know. But here it was like completely, like, kind of opposite.
Different.
Yeah. Did you feel the same way at like Macbeth and Stride? I know you went towards Macbeth
Oh
and Stride
yeah,
at
it was way more
PTC.
welcoming
Yeah.
than Wilma Theater.
Well, and it's interesting to me that contrast too, because y'all just talking about like this celebration of the play, like at the end, the way that all the actors were like bringing in the audience, and then it sounds like what that vibe of the show was uplifting was in contrast
Yeah,
to
the show was like, it was like the show was welcoming, but like the rest, like the other part wasn't.
And what do you think is important for when people are cultivating spaces for? Because I think, you know, when we think of like having youth come to see theater, oftentimes it's at designated youth nights, right? Designated times where they know there's a bunch of youth coming. Do you think that that's valid to like just want to have youth come one night, or is it valid to be able to cultivate space for youth to be in your theater, in your art space, any day that youth wants to be?
I think it depends on what you're performing. Like if it's something super explicit, super vulgar, maybe have like an age limit on it, but with most other plays, no, I don't think so. I think as long as you just ask, and you even do this with adults, you just ask everyone to be mindful of the space you're in, to silence your phones, you know, be respectful of the actors and the crew, and then everything should be fine. And I think it's also a little difficult for, and this is just in general, if you're keeping kids in a certain space, once they're older, they're not really gonna know what to do once they get into like adult spaces on their own. It's like, you know,
That's the point.
it's like a
You
whole
wanna talk
shell
about that?
shock
Yeah,
happening.
because it's like I get that the stereotype is that kids are inexperienced with life and they don't really know that much, which is to an extent really true, but also it's like they use that people use that as an excuse to not teach kids about the world, or to think that they are automatically better than kids, whereas like there are some children who are definitely more mature, or like there are a lot of children who have the capacity to be as mature or even more mature than the adults in the room.
Alice, you were gonna touch on?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking it's like I understand with like, you know, things that are like kids should not be seeing this, like let's make it like conscious and stuff will be like 21 plus. But I do feel like it's like people want art to live on, but art is going to live on through the youth. And so if you're not allowing youth to experience art, then it's like, well, then they're gonna go play like football or something, and they're not gonna, you know, continue. And I think there's so much that youth add to the conversation about like what they're experiencing like now in the world, that it's like if you're limiting them from creative expression to communicate that, then, and to also see maybe experiences that they're experienced communicated on a stage and being like, oh, I see myself in this person, then it's like you're doing a disservice to like the kids and the youth to be able to experience that art and to be able to create art themselves.
Yeah.
Alex, I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. The way my brain is interpreting what you're saying is like you're speaking to an element of gatekeeping almost in the artist world. Do y'all have thoughts about that? Like, how did you feel gate kept in this environment, even though you were technically allowed to be there, or are there different like scales of that feeling?
In the Wilma Theater, no, not really. But I'm speaking in general. I think that like with the question that Sabriaya was asking about whether or not kids should be kept out of certain spaces or have only be there in specific days. But in the Wilma Theater, besides what happened with the stage incident in London, which was super strange, it felt very warm. It just felt very cozy. It felt like a bunch of people sitting down in a living room in a dark setting and just watching a movie or something. And we kind of felt packed in like sardines, but I think that's kind of nice sometimes to just feel cramped up and cozy and watching something nice. So that was cool. I liked the space. I loved the Wilma Theater, and the setup for the play was wonderful. The fake grass and then the actual grill and the house, it was great. It felt like an actual cookout that we were sitting in watching.
And I think that gatekeeping, well, as we go on and see more shows, the conversation expands to what does gatekeeping look like as far as like, do we feel like we're being, let's say, policed in space, but do we feel like there are certain things that, you know, we might be asked more than other patrons where we're going, even though, you know, I'm going to the bathroom. You know, I've seen that happen to y'all where people assume that y'all just run around, or you're looking, they'll be like, oh, just trying to over direct y'all, and you're like, no, I know where I'm going. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And that can happen a lot in some spaces, especially if you are a youth that is of color or a youth that's LGBTQIA and they don't know how to identify you in space. You can run up against that. And that's sometimes, you know, how I know in talking with like London, I was telling London, I was like, London has been to several theater shows, right? And knows theater etiquette, or whatever theater etiquette is supposed to be, because when we make our own theater and our storytelling, we create that theater etiquette. But London's been to Broadway with me to see For Color Girls, you know what I'm saying? And sat in the front row and just, you know, had experiences. And so wondering kind of like, did y'all peep anything that was like, oh, maybe that was a little charged? And maybe that's that kind of gatekeeping, right? Because I think all things are going to make sure that you're welcome to sit down, right? But I want to make sure that y'all are necessarily looking out also for how you exist in space, right? Whether you adjust your body, whether or not you tense up and you don't even know it, right? Whether you become more quiet in a space, right? And sometimes that's okay, because I do that sometimes. Miss Mia does that. Miss Reese and, you know, Mr. Steve do that. So like that's something that we just want to make sure that it's also a part of the conversation, is about how you are evolving as artists, right? Do you go to a show and you're like, this is I want to be in this theater, right? Similar to when you went to PTC and y'all saw Macbeth and Strive, for some of y'all were like, oh, I could hang out in this lobby, or I could chill here. You know what I'm saying? That's the feeling we want to cultivate in talking with y'all in the future. What does that look like? What does it look for you individually? Some of y'all might be like, I don't need nobody to talk to me in the lobby, or I don't need all your participation. I just want to go to my seat, watch some show, and get out of here. And some of y'all might be like, I would like a little tea time, a little, you know, audience participation, you know. And that's okay, because adults too also have preferences in space, and also get policed, also get yelled at on stage, you know.
I think as Black people, or people of color in general, I think there's this pressure to act more reserved, or just stay to yourself, or be very polite and agreeable in certain spaces, because if you make one little mistake, or laugh too loud, or speak too loud on acts, you know, just normal human things, then you get all of these negative stereotypes put back onto you, or people react in a way that isn't necessary at all. You know, they overreact to you, expecting you to be something in their head that actually isn't you, you know?
That is.
So that's stressful.
That is
going through it on
that is so loaded. I'm sorry. That just, that spoke to my soul. Cause, yeah, it's like what was different with Macbeth and Stride was it was like, I'm naturally energetic. I bring all the energy into the room. When I'm with y'all, I'm very high energy. When I'm with my parents, it's a different story. But like, yeah. So it's like at Macbeth and Stride, it was like we was all invited to like. It was basically a concert. We was invited to, we was invited to all this stuff, and even like the audience members, I was saying stuff, and the audience member was like, yes. The audience member was just like, yes. So it's like, it feels really good for like the energy to be shared in the space, I guess. Or like it's different with Fat Ham because like there is that more. I guess they were trying to create a more like intimate space with Fat Ham, where it's like it's weird. It's more they're trying to be more kind of reflective, more like take it in. And I mean, it's like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like. Yeah, just a little.
Drew, I'm so sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but what I hear you maybe speaking towards is like, did you feel limited then inside of that? Like you and your expression?
It's really, I mean, low-key, yes, in a way that's very much more like smaller, because it was like, it was less like I'm laughing, I'm doing stuff with the entire audience. I felt like I was just doing stuff with you guys, and I was just making comments with you guys. So it was like, I was just like, there were multiple times where it was just like, yeah, maybe, I shouldn't be so, reactive. But then the grading with the BBL happened, and I fell out of my seat.
Tora?
No, like I feel that exact same way. Anytime I go to see like a play or a show, like I always feel like I have to contain myself in my laugh specifically, because y'all know my laugh could be real loud and crazy, and like it happens really randomly, and like I'll be trying to like I'll be trying to hold it in, like it'd be crazy. But yeah, I was gonna say like I agree with Drew in that.
Yeah.
Alright, and to add on with to like what Anna said, I feel like as Black youth, people always trying to find like a way to like control us and like make us something that we're not, because you know of like past and stuff like that, they always want to like make it seem like they're such more mature, when sometimes the kid is actually more mature than an adult in certain situations. But that makes me feel a type of way, because it's like, don't try to control somebody and make them something that they're not, because they're not that at all. Just because you see them and like you think that they're all like perfect this type of way, they're actually not. Behind closed doors, they could be a totally different person.
And that's important to notice. I'm gonna shift the conversation to wrap up and to talk about, like, today we spent the day in space together, designing a gallery that is about y'all, and about Eban Youth and kids who are like creating these projects and doing this work. What is important in allowing educators, theater people who are making theater for y'all, to know and to recognize when holding space for you? You know, is it important to have it where, like today, I just said, come on in and here are your materials, do what y'all gonna do, hang up what you gonna hang up. Is it freedom? Is it resources? What is it that are we looking forward to? And also, some of y'all coming next week to see me perform in my own way about being a youth in space. What are some things you're looking forward to seeing next week as the gallery opens?
So the two questions that I heard, just to play it back,
Please do, yeah.
are, what are you looking forward to about Miss Sabria's performance next week? And like London was speaking to, feeling limited, controlled, and all of you were speaking to, right, this gatekeeping, these microaggressions that happen in space. What is the opposite of that?
I think that it is being gentle and loving towards people. And I don't think that, especially educators, understand how very crucial it is to be gentle and understanding with kids that they are teaching, because you are interacting with these humans every day and they're fresh. I know everyone feels grown, even me. We're brand new people. We need to learn how to interact with the world. So if we're going into a space where we are being repressed or told negative things about ourselves or whatever, you're gonna go out into the world feeling like that's true about yourself, and that isn't just something that goes away. You actively need to, when you're older, whenever you have the understanding that this isn't true, you actively need to work hard to undo the things that are being told about you or the way that you've been mistreated, because that follows you around. And no matter how successful you get or wherever you go in life, that's going to be in the back of your mind unless you go back and tell yourself that this isn't okay. So what you and Miss Sabriaya are doing, and just the other creators that we've met, I think it's very important, because I just hate seeing these beautiful people who are so small and so vulnerable, just their light being put out. I think it's just one of the most devastating things that can ever happen. And I think that it's so important for teachers and educators to pay attention to what's going on with people individually, and to just be gentle with them and let them know that, you know, the way you are is okay, the way you're reacting is okay, and, you know, just so that when they're an adult and when they're older, they can have that security in themselves and they're not deep down feeling like something's wrong with them, you know? So I want to take time to say that I appreciate you two, and I appreciate everything that you've done and the space that you've made for all of you. That whole wall of people, I can't imagine all the people that you've helped, Miss Sabriaya, and you're so important, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm happy to be learning with you, and I hope that one day I can help people in the way that you two have. So thank you. Sorry for getting emotional.
That
was really beautiful.
touching.
Sorry.
Touching.
In
No,
the
it's,
field.
it's good to
Sorry.
touch. It really is good to touch, because like, it's just like, it's hard because it just goes into like, people just need to be more educated, and it's like, it's because it's not just like, it's a broader society issue that might not have like a really secure, sound solution, but we can get really, really, really close to it. I guess it's just like, in my experience, I wish that people would finally start to understand, like me, and just not what they see of me. Because, I don't know, it's because of my identity, it's like people see just someone that they can put into boxes, or like talk to this way, where it's like, you have not communicated, like, it's just not, it's not violent. It's just not violent. Sorry. Touching. Very much touching. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what the two things you're supposed to answer were.
Oh yeah. So what is the opposite of a gate-kept,
Oh, I
oppressive
got it.
space?
Trust. You gotta trust your audience. Like,
Trust
your
your audience.
I feel like that's what they be liking in a lot of these spaces. Like, the reason why we feeling all this tense way is because they don't be trusting that we know how to carry ourselves. And, like, especially the stereotypes that get put on us, like, they don't trust that, like, because of all the stuff that they put on us, they don't think that we know how to act. They don't think we know how to carry ourselves in places. Like, and I feel like that's where the lack of trust comes in, with, like, a bunch of biases people put against us. Like, but yeah.
Yes.
I am looking for a bell hooks quote that I can quote directly, because I think that that's important to what we're speaking about right now. I'm looking for it right now. I'm so sorry.
No, take your time
I'm
on
gonna
it.
trust y'all next Friday.
That's right. In this
I'll
space.
point you out.
And so that being said, the second question was, what are y'all excited for about your next event, which is coming here next Friday, to watch Miss Sabriaya perform, to witness this exhibit that y'all helped curate today?
I'm excited to see people's reactions.
People's reactions, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm performing right here.
I'm excited to see you perform because I've never seen. We were supposed to go to one of your shows, but then it got canceled. But like, I'm excited to like see you perform because I've never seen you perform.
Same.
And so I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Like,
I don't know what to expect either.
we're gonna be front and center. We're gonna be staring directly at you. So.
Oh, Lord.
No
Well, I can
pressure,
say
Miss Sabriaya.
Miss Sabriaya is a wonderful performer. I've seen you read poetry and sing and do. You're just so captivating. I just want to sit and watch and listen to whatever you have to say. You
That's
could-
not no
yes.
pressure at all.
Wait, do we have to like dress like
You know, I think like
fancy?
I'm a come as you are kind of person in general in life. although I tend to overdress, but I think the goal of next Friday is I want it to just feel like a gathering of storytelling. You know what I'm saying? So come as comfortable as you want to. There'll be photos. McLeese is gonna be stretching his legs. He gonna be out here photographing. But I think a lot of times that's a question as well. And that kind of comes into our podcast about how we show up in space. I want y'all to show up in space because y'all faces up there down there.
Show up, show out.
You know what I'm saying? Be like, yo, I know the curator of this bitch. I know her. You know, and it's not
That's
like
my
I know
mom.
her, like, oh, I know her. No, y'all know me. You know what I'm saying? And so that is I think that is sometimes the difference in the art that I want to make with y'all is for y'all to be able to come see my shows and things and never be afraid to connect with me after a show, or never be afraid to be like interrupt my performance. I've had it happen. I know. It's gonna be one song, and London's gonna be like, I know that song. She used to do that song with us. Okay, cool. And I want y'all to have those responses, and I'm always here for any reaction that comes out. So come dressed as you are. You always cute anyway, Tora. Like
That facts.
That's
Nice.
right. But express your full selves, how you feel comfortable and safe doing in this space.
And we finna party. We finna party.
Is it gonna be food?
Yes, I believe there's gonna be food.
What time?
You should get charcuterie.
All right. And on that note, that is the end. Oh wait, Anna's gonna close us out of our podcast with a quote from the late Bell Hooks.
Yes. So I'm quoting from her book, All About Love. And it is, to truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients: care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. Learning faulty definitions of love when we are quite young makes it difficult to be loving as we grow older. And I was quoting this, and as I was reading this book, I just kept screaming in my mind, oh my God, Sabriaya, I need to talk with them about this book, because it just reminds me of the way that you and Miss Mia teach. And I think this definition of love is very important in the way that you guys educate people. And I don't believe that there's any other way to actually efficiently educate people, you know, and teach them about things. Because if it's in a space where you can't really be comfortable, or you can't be vulnerable or honest, are we really learning anything, or are we just sitting and having someone talking at us? Yes, that's what I had to say. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Anna. We appreciate you. We appreciate y'all so deeply. And, you know, our whole goal is to reach that, a place where y'all feel like you can bring your full self without judgment, without feeling unsafe, without criticism, but with love. Alex and Tora, quickly.
Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. I know we gotta end it. But that, like, what you were talking about, all of that it really reminded me of, like, when y'all came to Shadow, which is a theater group me and Tora are a part of, and me, Tora, and Drew. Sorry, I almost forgot. Me, Tora, and Drew hasn't been there for so long that, honestly, anyways, that me and Tora and Drew are a part of, and, like, kind of the culture that we had before y'all came with our past director, where, like, he was great, love him, but it was like, if you, like, had, like, a problem with, like, what we were doing, or like the content we were creating, if you went to him, it was difficult to have that type of conversation. And then y'all came into this space, and it was really, I think, really transformative for our group to have y'all there, because it was like, you know, if we have a problem, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna work through it, and we're gonna address any lack of communication or miscommunication that's happened. And I think that helped us grow as a company, and I think it helped everyone there grow as, like, individual people too, to be able to be like, yeah, we have this problem, and we're gonna sort it out, and we're gonna create something that we all feel confident and comfortable in. And that was really great to have y'all there, and I think you came at a really great time. I know it was difficult, but
No, because I was gonna say, like, I don't think us, like, as Shadow learned, like, really realized how, like, I guess how good we had it with you two until y'all were gone. Like, I didn't realize, like, how much I really learned and growed with you guys there. Like, before you guys came, like, I was only in Shadow for, like, a year before you guys came, And, you know, I was just going through the motions. I was just chilling. But I feel like when y'all came, like, it really made me look inwards. And I was like, whoa. And, like, I don't know. I feel like I learned, like, that summer, like, I really learned so much about myself because of you two. Like, and the things that y'all were, like, make us do. And, like, the writing stuff. And, like, certain things that, like, I remember you made us go outside in the grass barefoot. And you told us to be, like, uncomfortable and live in the uncomfortableness. And I was like, okay. And I don't know. I learned some things after that. And it made me be comfortable with different things after that. And made me look at different things differently. Like, it's just, like, so many things that y'all did that really just, I don't know. Like, I really grew and found myself a lot during that summer. So, thank y'all. Thank y'all.
I know.
No, I really just want to say that I think it's important, and why we create this program, Act 2 Next Generation, is because you all are our future. You are the type of community that we want to foster and to create for the future. And just seeing y'all here today has touched my heart, not only because the gallery is finished, but because I never envisioned myself being an educator. That wasn't on my trajectory when I was y'all age. And y'all have been some of the biggest blessings in my life. To be able to be a part of your childhood or be a part of your growing artistry. So I'm just really thankful and really like hold y'all in a special place because, and I think I speak for me in this, the days are rough, us trying as adults to hold space for everything and for all the things that we navigate. But y'all showing up and doing the work, but also y'all being glimpses of it working out makes us not regret working towards or putting in the effort.
Y'all are our hope.
Mothers.
They better not cut this out.
Mothers of the house.
That was great.
If I hear this episode and this is my
podcast, just not talking about things is what's gonna keep us stagnant in whatever negative thing is happening. Whether we're speaking it or not, we're gonna feel it. And the only way to make us feel better is to talk about it. Don't let it just fester in the dark. Just let it out into the open and let the sun hit it and just try to work through it, you know?
Yeah.
Agree.
On that note, this has been the second episode of Act 2 Next Generation, coming out in late January. We are also very much also excited for next month's episode where we are going to be going to see, talk about the actual experience of Eban Youth, of the gallery opening, and going to Temple Theaters to see Okra and Greens by Intozaki Shonge. We are very excited for that. Like I said, thank you for listening, but also keep us in your roster for invitations to come out and see shows and be a part of different events. We're looking forward to, and this group is also, hint, hint, register for Theater Week, because this group will be hosting an event that week as well.
Oh, wait.
And we're out!